Okay, so we are recording. Shot 12 times during last night's basketball game. If she made 9 of those shots, what percent of attempted shots did she make? So we're going to start out by making our little percent bars that we learned about the other day. And so we're going to put 0% and 100% here. And a lot of people put the percents on the bottom, and that's okay too. Actually, for this, let's do that because it'll help you understand a little bit. I should have done it this way too. You can actually do it either way, but we'll put the percents on the bottom. Okay, and so we know that she shot 12 times, so that was her total. So I'm going to put that over here with 100%. So if she had made all 12 shots, that would be 100% shooting percentage, but she did not. She made 9. So we're going to put a 9 over here, and we're going to put an X for percent. Now, you guys could sit and play with this bar a little bit, and you could figure this out, but I want to show you what's cool about using proportions. So if I take the numbers that we have here, 9 over X equals 12 over 100, I can just take them straight out, make them fractions with a little equal sign, and now it's a proportion that I can just solve the way that we solve proportions. So to review, because it's been a few days, we cross multiply. So I'm going to take 9 times 100, which is 900, and I'm going to take 12 times X. So I've just got to figure out what times 12 is 900. So if I'm trying to figure out a missing number with multiplication, we just divide. Or I think what I showed you guys the other day, I did it differently. I think I said, okay, then I'm going to do 900 divided by 12 to get X. So if we do that on a calculator really quick, 900 divided by 12 is 75, and so she made 75% of her shots. Okay, there's other ways to set this up. This is just one way. So what I'm trying to get to is to make some proportions. Another way you could make this proportion without the bar is she made 9 out of 12 shots, and you could think of that as being X out of 100%. So if that made more sense to you, you could set it up that way. And it would still be 9 times 100 and 12 times X. But the bar, because it's kind of visual, helps some people. If you don't like the bar, you can just set up a proportion and solve from there. Okay, let's go to the next one. Camilla makes 2 of her 5 shots attempted. Is the percent she made more than, less than, or the same as Emily's percent of shots? So if we're using the bar, here's 0%, 100%. So 5 is the number of shots that she took. 2 is the number of shots we made. So we're trying to figure out what this percent is that goes here. This just gives us one way to set up the proportion. 2 over X equals 5 over 100. Let everybody get that down. So I'm just taking it just exactly the way it appears on the bar. And then we cross multiply. So 2 times 100 is 200. And X times 5 goes on the other side. And so in order to figure out what times 5 is 200, we're going to work backwards and take 200 divided by 5. So 200 divided by 5 is 40. So 40 is the percent that she made. Now I need to go back at the question. So it says, is it more than, less than, or the same as Emily's percents of shots? So it is definitely less than Emily's. So that's really what they're looking for. But I will be looking for this work because this is your justification. If you had to explain why, then you could go through, well, I set up this proportion, I came up with 40%, 40% is less than 75, therefore she made less. So you could make it really wordy for the sake of notes, we're just going to make sure that we're answering the questions. Okay. Give everybody a second to finish that up. And ask questions if you need to. So again, another way that you could do this is you could just go, okay, 2 out of 5 equals X out of 100. And this may be how you did some percents before in the past, because then you could go, okay, that's times 20, and that's times 20, and that would be 40. So you might be able to reason through it that way, or you could solve the proportion. You're going to get the same numbers. So this is the way that I learned. This percent bar is just something that is visual that helps some people figure out how to set it up. Okay, so we've got a hockey goalie stops 37 out of 40 shots. What percent of attempted goals did she stop? All right, so we're going to set this up. We got 0% and 100%. And so 40 is the total shots that she took. She made 37. So I'm going to kind of stick it over here, and we're trying to figure out that percent. So if I'm just going off of the bar, I would set it up 37 over X equals 40 for 100. And we can just cross multiply to solve. So we'll take 37 times 100, so 37 with 2 zeros, and that equals X times 40. So 3,700 divided by 40 will give me the X. 3,700 divided by 40 is 92.5%. And we'll go ahead and just leave that on there unless they tell us to round it off to a whole percent. Now the cool thing about the bar is it's going to give us a way to visualize some things that might be interesting to visualize otherwise. Give you guys a sec. I know some people listen and then write, so it takes a second. So if you're watching the video and you're bored, just, fast forward through this. Everybody's done, so we're going to flip the page. So, a plan to expand Megan's room will make the length of the room 175% of the current length. What will be the new length of her room? So, they've got 4 meters, so it'd be more than 12 feet already. And then they're adding onto it, and this will be 175% of the length. So when we make our bar, we have 0% and 100%. We're going to have to add on a little bit to go over to 175%. And that's okay. And so we know that her room right now is 4 meters long. So that 4 is the current length of her room. So it's the current total number of meters for that side of her room. And now we're looking for a new length. So we can use this to do a proportion. 4 over 100 equals X over 175. And it'll solve just like the others. So we're going to take 4 times 175. So we'll just do that really quick. And that is 700. So 700 equals 100 times X. I'll bet you guys can figure that one out. So X equals what? Anybody? X equals 7. So that means that her new room is going to be 7 meters long. So I like the bar method because it gives you a way to still do percents even when they go over 100%, all of that. And it just helps you set up a proportion that works. Okay, Megan's room is expanded so that the width is 150% of 3 meters. What is the new width? Okay, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. Remember when we did percent of problems? I don't need a proportion for this one. I'm looking for 150% of 3. So do you remember how to solve those? So I'll start you off. We're going to change 100.
It would be 5 times 3.
1.5
plus 1.5, right?
times. So you're going to take 1.5 times 3. It comes out 4.5 meters. So when I do a percent of, we change the percent to a decimal. The of becomes times, and then you take the other number. So this goes back to kind of what we did at the beginning of the chapter. So sometimes we may be able to solve it this way, or we don't need a proportion. It's like, psh, could we solve it with a proportion? Yes.
So adding would work too, though?
On that problem, yes, but on any other problem, no.
Okay, it's just a...
So yeah, on this problem, it just so happens that that worked out, but on other problems, that would not work. So if I was doing 150% of 4, it would not come out right if you just added. Okay, so let's go down to the next one. The nutrition label shows the percents of the recommended daily, I think it's supposed to be intake, not intact, but anyway, for nutrients found in a serving of soy milk. How many milligrams of calcium should you consume every day? So it tells us on this label that this carton has 20%, or one serving, I guess, is 20% of your daily calcium, and that one serving has 200 and 50. I have 240 written down for some reason, but we'll say it's 250. So let's make a bar. 260.
Yeah, it says 260. What there?
Okay.
Yeah, mine says 260.
Okay. We'll go with 260. It's fine. It'll work no matter what. So I have 0% and 100%. And I don't know what the 100% is. I know that 20% is 260. Okay? And so I could sit here and add up 20% to get to 100. We did that the other day. But if the numbers were weirder than that, it may not want to go through all that trouble, so I can just use this to set up a proportion. So 260 times 100 is 26,000, and then I have 20 times x. And so if I'm trying to figure out what the x is, I'm going to take that 26,000 divided by 20, and I get, I forgot we changed the problem, so, but it's still going to work. 1,300. And then I should label this milligrams of calcium. I think Ca is calcium, like that. So we just did a quick little picture. But you could also take 260 and figure out that there would be 5 of these, since you go 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and you could add that 5 times as well. That would also work. But we're kind of just showing you how you can solve pretty much everything with a proportion, and sometimes that takes some of the guesswork out of it. All right, what is the recommended amount of iron needed each day? So let's see what it says for iron. So 45, this has 45% of the iron, and there is 8 milligrams. So it's the same kind of picture. So 45 is almost half, so 45% is 8 grams, and we're trying to figure out what 100% of my daily intake should be. And so this one, 45, would be a lot harder to get to 100. You could estimate. I could go, okay, well, 45 is almost 50. If I double it, 16, and then a little bit more. But if we want to get it exact, we can just take this off of here and set up our proportion. So 8 times 100 is 800, and then on the other side I'll have 45 times x. So how do I figure out what x is? What operation am I going to do? Nope. So if I want to know what times 45 is 800, how do I work backwards? What is divide? Okay, I think you guys were just writing and incapable of hearing and writing at the same time. It's okay. So it does not come out a whole number. It comes out 17.7 repeating. So we're going to round it off to 17.8 milligrams. So in real life, it doesn't come out whole numbers all the time. So that is okay.